Hi there, welcome to the Ecofina Financial Channel. My name is Philip, and as usual, I will take you through one major event in the global economy. Remember, click the subscribe button and set up the notification so that you can get regular updates from this channel. What we do is that we share economic insights to guide your individual or business decisions, and we try to provide as much analysis as we can just so that you're making the right choices from an economic perspective. So last week, we looked at the factors that would shape the Nigerian economy. But this week, just like we promised, we'll be looking at the factors that we believe are very important to watch out for from a global perspective. So the factors that shape the global economy is our focus today. So let's get straight into it. You know, a global view is always very important, and not only because the world is not a global village, but also because events in one part of the world can easily affect other parts due to the interconnectivity of economies and sometimes even the interdependence of various economies. So some of the factors we look at here are what we believe are very important. They are not in any way exhaustive. There might be some other ones, and you can even let us know in the comment section. But these are the ones we believe are the most important. The first thing is the Evergrande Group. You know, the debt crisis of Evergrande Group has been in focus for some time now, and nobody really knows how that is going to end. Just because we have the benefit of hindsight with the same thing that happened to Lehman Brothers in 2008 and the effects that on the global economy, we believe the Evergrande Group debt is something to watch. Of course, you know, Evergrande has debt in excess of $300 billion, and very recently, they even missed a bond payment. So China, of course, is managing it very differently from how probably other countries would do, using even unconventional methods, including getting the founders and, you know, those who own the business to pay from their personal fortune. But it remains to be seen how much progress and how they will be able to contain the risk. But really, from a global perspective, it's something to really watch out for, to see how that will go and to see how it's going to affect the global economy. The second factor we believe will be important is coronavirus. In truth, we thought that probably at this time, coronavirus will no longer be an issue, especially with the number of vaccines that have been approved and the rate of vaccination itself. But the coronavirus pandemic is still a major factor, even going into 2022. And that's because of some of the variants, which, you know, have been discovered. And in fact, some countries have imposed a travel ban. Some of them, we don't even understand why the travel bans were imposed, because we believe it's a general issue, and with vaccination and with all these strategies currently in use to contain the risk, travel bans probably are not even the best options. But some countries have done that. We understand some of them are reversing it already, which is good news. But you can expect that, again, travel and tourism will be the worst hit from another outbreak of coronavirus pandemic. The oil prices also might be affected, but we'll look at that in more detail later. But what it means is that it can delay the general recovery of the global economy. So we believe, yes, the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, is still something to watch in 2022. The third thing we identify is climate change. Of course, all over the world, there's a lot of clamor for the use of clean energy just to preserve the global economy. There's a lot of talk about sustainable economic development, and clean energy is at the heart of it. So we believe that as countries begin to push for cleaner sources of energy, it would have some effects on some certain sectors, most especially the electric vehicle space. And it's probably something you need to watch out for in 2022. it might not be a bad idea to position along that value chain, either by buying the stocks of electric vehicle companies or companies who manufacture battery or other raw materials that the electric vehicle companies use. So it's something to actually look out for, even from an investment perspective, at whatever level you think you can play, either, even if you can run a clean energy company, or just to position yourself by buying the stocks of these companies might also be a good move. The fourth thing we identify is the oil price. The oil still remains the major source of energy around the world. And, the price of oil will still have an impact on how the global economy runs in 2022. OPEC Plus has been trying its best to keep the oil prices in check, but really they've been controlling the supply, which means that the oil prices really have been high. And I think at some point it was more than $80. Now it's around $70, but I know countries like the United States don't like the oil prices being too high. And of course, even if we take it a little bit home, in countries like Nigeria, it might not also be the best thing to see the price high, because the government's already talking about removing the subsidy on oil. And if that happens, it means that Nigerians will have to pay the market price. And if the price keeps going up, and that will be difficult. But we believe oil prices, again, because of it's still the main source of energy, will still play a major role in the global economy. Lastly, the last thing we identify is the political landscape, politics. And that's because there will be some elections, even in the new year, or even right now, some countries are already experiencing a change in government. One major country that, of course, has to be in focus is Germany, who have had a chancellor since 2005. Angela Merkel served between 2005 and 2001. And now she's been replaced by Olaf Scholz. Now Olaf Scholz has promised that he's going to run the government the same way Angela Merkel ran the German economy or the German government in the past for 16, 17 years. But as it is with any new person, you can't expect that the same thing done then will be done by the new government. It might not exactly be the same. So it will be good and interesting to see what Germany have up their sleeves. There will also be elections in countries like France, which is the second biggest economy behind Germany in Europe. And then you have South Korea also. Also in Africa, you have major countries like Kenya and Angola having their elections. These all have an impact, because with the new governments, if there's a new government, as is likely in some of the countries, and then you can expect some new perspectives, and then you can expect some new policies as well. So if you're thinking of doing business in any of these countries, then you have to certainly look at the political landscape to see if this is the right time to launch into that space. So that's it from us as regards the factors we believe will be key to the global economy in 2022. Do let us know what you also think. What are the factors that you believe we have left out that you think should actually be there? And let's discuss it in the comment section. So remember, click the subscribe button and set up the notification so that you can always receive updates from our channel. And we'll be back with you next time with another edition. See you then.